Hi Flosstube, I'm Rachel Stitchy Rach here on Flosstube and on Instagram. It is Friday the 6th of May and this is a YouTube channel about cross stitch. Surprise everyone! I'm here, it's not my week to record, but I have been stitching away on Stitch Mania and I decided if I didn't film this week and waited till next week, there'd be so much to show you, it would be epically long. So I've decided that during Stitch Mania, so for this week and 2 more weeks, I will try and film every week so that they don't become epic kind of hour-and-a-half long videos that you have to sit through. So I hope you're pleased to see me for an extra week, and I will talk to you about what I've been stitching since I last saw you. Welcome along if you haven't been here before. I usually only film every other week, but as I just explained, I have quite a bit to show this week, so I'll do that now. So what have I got to show you today? I have to show you a framed piece that I said I'd show you last week and then partly did run out of time and also partly forgot. I have lots of whips. I have a smidge of haul. It is a smidge. And then a few people on Instagram have asked me about how I store my DMC threads. So given the haul is mainly DMC threads, I thought I'd bring along how I store and organise my threads in case any of you are interested in that. I hope you're all enjoying the beautiful weather. So weekly weather with Rachel. It is beautiful here in Kent today. I am in a t-shirt and I'm sorry if it does look a little bit mucky on the front. I took my dog out earlier and he jumped in a pond and then all over me. So it's not, I'm afraid, the cleanest t-shirt, but I wasn't going to get changed. 1 second. We've also got people coming over for dinner tomorrow night and I think this is the first time I've hosted a dinner party in, what, like 2.5 years nearly? 2 years? Just over 2 years? Probably 2.5 years because obviously I didn't have one the night before lockdown. So feeling a bit nervous about that, but just bunged a butterflied leg of lamb in a big dish of olive oil and rosemary and garlic and I'm sure it'll be delicious. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, it's been busy and fun and sunny. What's not to like? So where to start? I will start with what I promised to show you last week. If you watched me last week, you may remember I was camping in the corner of my bedroom, kind of behind the wardrobe, with a spot with not great light, but that there was the bottom of a frame above my head. And I said, oh, if I have time, I'll show you what that is. And I didn't have time and I also forgot. But I have taken it off the wall and given it a bit of a dust because actually it was really dusty. And I'm back in my usual spot. And this is what that frame was. This is a wedding sampler, which I did not stitch. My mother stitched this for me and my husband to celebrate our wedding. This is terrible, I cannot remember if she gave it to us as a wedding present or as our 1-year anniversary present. And I'm just looking at it to see if I can see a signature and a date because my mum does usually sign and date her cross stitch. But I can't see anything on here. Anyway, this was done by my mum for me and my husband. I think it is lots of glare. I think it is a historical sampler company piece. And I think she probably did it from a kit. But she also had it framed for us and I love how she had it framed. And this hangs in our bedroom. And I'm sure you'll agree it deserves to have pride of place because it's absolutely beautiful. I am a big fan of historical sampler company charts and kits. I don't have one on the go at the moment, but I have stitched quite a lot of them as gifts. I don't think I have stitched any that I have in my own home. Oh, sorry, that glare again. There you go. I'm just trying to hold it so you can see me. and the thing and no glare. So I don't think I have any in my home that I have stitched for me, but I have definitely stitched 3 or 4 as gifts. So, and yeah, so I would strongly recommend having a look at Historical Sampler Company if you want a gift for a specific event. I've definitely stitched them for wedding anniversaries, for new homes, for weddings. I think they have quite a few birth samplers as well, which I haven't stitched, but I just really like them. So I will link them in the description box below, but I'm pretty sure this is a Historical Sampler Company design. And I love it. I love my mum made it for us, and as I say, it hangs in pride of place in our bedroom. So that's what that frame was hiding behind me. I love the berry bottles here, and also the peacocks. I love those like funky tails on the peacock. Love it. Thanks, Mum. So that's that. So that's the thing above my head. Right, shall we jump into what I've been stitching? So, last time you saw me, it was the 29th of April, wasn't it? So there were 2 days left in April, and I did do a little bit of stitching on the things I was working on before Mania started. So the first one up is my massive Peanuts Afghan. This is one of my focus pieces for the year, and I was stitching away on Peppermint Patty, and I didn't get her finished, but I got her a bit further along. I didn't take a photo of where she was last time, so I'm sorry about that, but I think last time you saw her, I'd done kind of her face and this arm that all run together, so that big kind of flesh coloured blob in the middle. And I'd done some of her hair, but not all of it, and now obviously I finished her t-shirt and her hair, and she just needs her legs and her back stitching. She'll only take me about a day or two to finish her off when I get there. She is stitched from, and all the designs on this Afghan are stitched from a selection of charts I found on eBay. They're all out of print. This particular one is called Peanuts Cross Stitch Magnets, but I have about 5 little booklets, and they're all by Leisure Arts, and they're all published in the 90s. As I say, they are out of print now, but you can get them on eBay, so set up a saved search if that's interesting to you. Peppermint Patty stitched in the called for DMC on Zweigart and Afghan fabric, and she's stitched 4 strands over 2, so they do eat the thread. So that's where I got to on Patty before May came along, and I put her away. As I say, at the end of May I'm going to get this back out, because on my WIPGO board 2 squares were called on this, so I hope to finish Peppermint Patty and hopefully 2 more, although that might be pushing a bit because at the end of May we have, once Mania is finished, I think there are 8 days left in May, and just over a week might be pushing it to get, no, 9 days, can't do maths, 9 days left in May, but that still might be pushing it to finish Patty and do 2 more squares. We'll see. If it's pouring with rain, it might happen. You never know. So I worked on that, and then I was working on my out and about project. So this had a bit more stitching on. Since May started, I'm just trying to think, I haven't taken this one out and about because the projects that were called on the days I've had out and about stitching have been manageable to take out with me. They haven't been too large or too cumbersome. So this had some stitching on Friday after I saw you, and on Saturday morning at Saturday Swimming Stitching, which you'll know is a weekly highlight if you follow me on Instagram. But it is going to get some love today, so it's going to get a bit of out and about stitching tonight, because my Stitch Mania piece today is a big Dimensions gold kit, and I'm not going to take that in the car. I'm not taking a big Dimensions gold kit in the car. No way. No way. So I also forgot to take a picture of where this was last time. And what is this of which I am speaking? This is Seize the Day by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I started this as a mystery sale in 2019 and of course did not manage to keep up with it. And not even vaguely keep up with it. And this is where it is now. So, since you last saw it, what have I done? Not a huge amount. I think I've done a bit of the sand dunes around the beach huts, a bit of the sand around the beach huts. That's hard to see on this fabric. And then I've started the parasol here. And I need to finish this beach hut. That blue is not in this bag and I just haven't put the time aside. That pale blue, can you see it's not finished? I haven't put the time aside to actually work out where that pale blue is. This is stitched on 32 count Belfast linen in the colour Gold Rush by Crafty Kitten Fabrics. Crafty Kitten no longer appear to be trading, so I'm afraid you probably can't get your hands on any of that at the moment, but I thought it suited this piece very well. And this is stitched in all the called for DMC apart from the beach towel in the middle, which was stitched in a hand-dyed, over-dyed thread by Jodrey Designs, which was a thread of the month a few years ago. So yeah, that's coming out with me in the next hour or so, and we'll get a bit more. And I haven't decided if I'm taking it to swimming stitching tomorrow. So the piece I have tomorrow for my Mania is Forever and Ever by Cottage Garden Samplings. So I'm sure you all know that is the two cardinals sitting on a hellebore branch. And it's cuspy. I think that is a cuspy one to take out and about with me. It could probably be managed, but it has a lot of threads. It just has a lot of threads, so I don't know if that really lends itself. But on the flip side of that, as I said, we're having people over for dinner tomorrow night, which is bound to be quite boozy and quite late. So if Forever and Ever doesn't come swimming with me in the morning, it probably won't get any stitching tomorrow because I'll be cooking and desperately trying to tidy up the house and trying to pretend I'm an organised and responsible person. I'm putting on a good show for my guests, and yeah, they won't, once they all leave it'll be late and I'll just want to roll into bed and fall asleep. So I'm just debating what stitching I'm going to do tomorrow, but that's by the by. Stitching will happen, it's just on what and will my Stitch Mania piece actually get attention. Don't know. Pass. I'll decide in the morning. Right, so that's what I was stitching on before May. And then May's here, which means Stitch Mania's here. So for those of you that didn't watch last week or are new here, how I do my Stitch Mania is that I use the Blimey Cat method. So I stitch on things on their Mania birthdays. So I only have a new start in May if I have a free space, as in a day where the piece I've started in a previous Mania has been finished. So for example, on the 1st of May, in 2020, I started Real Comfort by Modern Folk Embroidery. That is still a WIP. So I stitched on that in 2021 and I stitched on that on the 1st of May this year. In last year, on the 2nd of May, I had finished the thing I'd started on the 2nd of May 2020, and so I had a new start on the 2nd of May 2021, but that is still a WIP, so I stitched on that on the 2nd of May. So far this May, I have actually had no new starts. There's been 5 days, because I haven't done any stitching yet today, on the 6th. So the 5 days that we've had so far are all WIPs from previous years. But it has been really nice, particularly because I'm so focused on my 2 big finishes this year that I'm not actually getting round a lot of my WIPs. So it was really nice just to pull my WIPs out and do a little bit of stitching on them all. And some I've had quite a bit and I've made quite a bit of progress on, and some it's been like one thread just because, well, it was a bank holiday weekend here last weekend in the UK, my parents-in-law were here, we were quite busy, so the stitching has been variable. Anyway, here we go. So 1st of May. On the 1st of May in 2020, I started, I've just told you, Modern Folk Embroidery Real Comfort, a Jane Austen sampler. There it is. And I have managed to take pictures of all my Mania starts because I've been doing updates on my Instagram stories. So you can see the progress in my Instagram stories if you follow me on Instagram. But I will also put up pictures here. So I'll put a picture here of where Real Comfort was before I stitched on it on the 1st of May. And here is where it is now. So I didn't get loads of progress on this. I think I did one length of thread basically and kind of carried on working up this leafy bough here. So I haven't done loads, but it was nice for it to get some attention. It does actually stitch up quite quickly because there is a lot of negative space, really. While it's quite large, it isn't overly stitched. This is stitched on 40 count antique white linen, and I'm using Silks for You. No, where is it? PR011. I love this. The problem is I love all my WIPs, and I do something like this and I didn't want to put this away, I wanted to keep going. And I don't think, no, this isn't down for any particular time this year. So unless I just hit the wall on one of the big projects or finish them early, which doesn't look likely, I don't think this one's going to get any more love this year, which makes me quite sad. But I have already, because I'm determined I'm going to finish those 2 big projects this year. I'm absolutely 100% determined they're both going to be done. And I have already started planning my 2023 stitching. Not in a really structured way, but I've started to have some thoughts about it and what I want to do. And it's my big birthday next year. I am 40 next year. So this is the last year of I haven't had my birthday yet, so I'm still 2 birthdays away from it. But yeah, next year, 2023, is my big birthday. So I'm starting to think about my plans around that as well, and what kind of stitching I want to do to mark that. Anyway, Real Comfort is kept in this absolutely awesome Penelope's Pocket Pride and Prejudice bag. How amazing is that? I got this probably over a year ago from Sarah at Penelope's Pocket, and she doesn't have any more of them left, but I absolutely love it. I think I have several of Sarah's bags now, but I think the original, the one that reeled me in, is still my favourite. And there's one of my floss drops from when Michelle Mama Loves You did GB did their great floss drop trade. And Michelle, I think you should have called it the Great Floss Drop Swap, because that's what I want to say every time. Okay, so the 2nd of May. So on the 2nd of May in 2021, I started Rose, Hips and Ivy from the Blackbird Designs Sewing Club book. And I'm sure you're all familiar with this book. This book is absolutely fantastic. I think I want to stitch everything in here, and so far achieved nothing. But this is Rose, Hips and Ivy. That's the only picture of it in the book. It's a drum. Well, they've obviously made it up as a drum, and I intend to make it as a drum as well. And here is I'll put a picture up of where it was before I started stitching on the 2nd of May. And again, this did not get huge amounts of time. Again, we were just busy. It was a lovely day, we were outside a lot, parents-in-law were here. etc, etc. But here is where it is now. So I mainly just did that kind of large pink flower and a few more leaves. It wasn't huge amounts of progress. This is stitched on 36 count, and I purposely chose 36 count. So I'm one of those stitchers who 36 count can go either way for me. I can stitch it 2/2 or 1/2. And sometimes I feel 1/2 can be a bit sparse on 36 count. So for example, my big alphabet, if you've been here before, that's 2/2 on 36 count, and I quite like that coverage. But on a more prim piece, 1/2 can be fine. So this is 1/2 on 36 count, and it's 36 count hog bristle, is that right? Let me have a look. Yeah, 36 count hog bristle by Fox and Rabbit Designs. It's washing out a little bit on camera. It's probably a more, I'd say it's got more orange in it. I mean, it's not an orange colour, but it's a more orangey brown than it's shown to you. And I'm stitching it in all the called for weeks dye works because I'm not messing about with Blackbird Designs colours. It's just, that is a fool's errand. A fool's errand. So they were my first 2 days. Both pieces with a long way to go. Both pieces I didn't want to put away. Here's all the called for weeks dye works. So that's the colour palette, which is pretty awesome. That's why I'm not messing around with it. And I keep this in a House of Stitch and Stash project bag from Rika King. I was a member of her Project Bag of the Month club last year. I don't think she's done that club again this year. Anyway, so there we go. 3rd of May. 3rd of May. So I'm just trying to check I've got these in the right order. I do. This was another 2021 start, and it is from Prairie Schooler, book number 40, Band Samplers. And I am doing this one here. I'll put up a picture of where it was before I started. This had not had a lot of love. This had only been stitched on the day it was started in Stitch Mania last year, and it had no attention since then. And here is where it is now. I had a really good day's stitching on Tuesday. This came out and about with me. And then I had quite a good evening as well. I managed to get the kids to bed at a reasonable time and plonk my bottom on the sofa. And actually it stitched up pretty quickly. So I was really pleased with that. This is on 40 count light mocha by WIPGO, and it's just with all the called for DMC, which actually, again, an amazing colour palette. Really like it. And I'm stitching it one thread over 2. Yeah. Really pleased. Really pleased with that. Again, I don't know if this is going to get any more attention this year, because it's not, I haven't kind of factored it in to any time this year. So it may be one of those pieces that doesn't get much love outside Mania. But if you can get all that done in a day, because I kind of got all this top bit done now, so, you know, not much more to go, not much. Again, this is another Rika King House of Stitch and Stash project bag from her Project Bag of the Month club last year. Okay, so the 4th. Again, 4th was another good day stitching. It's another piece that came out and about with me. I got more stitching done in the evening, and it's another modern folk embroidery. I'm trying to remember when this one was started. I think this was a 2020 start, but I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to look it up. But that's what it is. It is a Japanese hiragana sampler. I think that's how you say it, but I'm probably absolutely butchering it. This is what it looked like before the 4th of May this year. And this is what it looks like now. So as you can see, I got kind of a whole line of symbols. Is that the right word? I don't feel like that is the right word. Letters done, but they're not kind of letters in our sense, are they? Because they kind of, yeah. Anyway, I'm not an expert on Japan. Shut up, Rachel. I just think it's beautiful. So this is 40 count antique white by Zweigart, and I'm stitching it in another Silks for You. This kind of, I think it looks really inky, that blue, kind of going from the dark to the light. But to me, that's a very inky blue. And it's Silks for You PR 105. PR 150. This one, I really feel, just gave it a bit of a push because I got a whole line of text done in a day. In a day. I feel like Peter Kay Sketch 14's done in a day. Yeah, I got it all done in a day. What, like one line done in a day. So I really feel if I just kind of gave that one a bit of attention, I could get that one finished. So you never know, once I've finished Seize the Day, maybe this could come on my travels with me, because it's quite a nice size for it. It's not, and I don't need a magnifier for 40 count or anything. I'm lucky. Well, I wear contact lenses. I'm pretty blind actually, but the contact lenses do me a pretty good job. And so I don't have any problems stitching on 40 count, as long as it's not a really dark fabric. I don't have any problems. I don't need any kind of magnification. So that's a possibility. It would be nice to get that one done, because as I say, I think it is 2 years old now. Ponderance. And then yesterday, that was the 5th, I stitched on something again I started last year. I started massive stuff in May last year. I started massive stuff and then basically only stitched on it for one day and never touched it again. So the 5th of May 2021, I started this Luca S kit. I'm trying to find the name. I can never find the name. Etude with Strawberries. I love these. Luca S has a whole range of these kits with all kind of different fruits and vegetables. I think I have 2 or 3 of them, but I absolutely love them all. They're brilliant. So I started this. I only stitched on it for one day last year, and it is quite confetti. There are no kind of big blocks of colour. Let me show you where it is. This is where it was after May last year, and I have made some progress, but it is not a quick stitch, this one, in complete contrast to the one I just showed you that actually you can get through a lot quickly. This one is not fast. Here is where I am now. So as you can see, there has been progress. I have stitched another kind of little baby strawberry and basically nearly finished that bigger strawberry. But it's not fast stitching. This is not going to break land speed records. And to be honest, I stayed up late-ish last night, and I did manage to sneaked in half an hour of stitching during the day yesterday. So it wasn't that it didn't get a lot of time, but it is, you know, you can see from the picture there's a lot of colour change. And it is one of those kits that it's like, you know, 6 stitches, need to change colour to a slightly different shade of red, 8 stitches, change colour to a slightly different shade of pink, 4 stitches. So this is never going to be a fast stitch. This is something that needs some time spent on it. I am using the thread that came with the kit, which is anchor thread, and they come pre-organised. This looks a bit of a mess now because I started using them, but they come organised on these cards. So I'm just using the cards. The kit comes with 18 count Ada, I have nothing against Ada, but personally for me, when you're going to see a lot of the fabric on the finished piece, I prefer linen. So I did switch the kit Ada for a 36 count white linen, but it's just a plain 36 count white linen, but that's what I got. So this one desperately needs a bit more love than it's getting. But again, I really don't know when it's going to get that love that it desperately needs. So there we go. So that is what I have stitched on so far in Stitch Mania. As I say, today's Stitch Mania call is a Dimensions Gold kit, which is definitely... I'm not taking Dimensions Gold kit out in the car. It will just be a complete and utter disaster. So I'll stitch on that a bit tonight, and then I've got to decide what I do about my Stitch Mania tomorrow, whether it just doesn't get a look in. Don't know. I say, still pondering that one. Right, my tiny bit of haul. This is mainly Stitch Mania related, and then there's one bit of haul in here that kind of leads into the next thing I'm going to show you. So I'll just take that out. This is all from Lakeside Needlecraft, who I'm sure if you're a stitcher in the UK, you're super familiar with Lakeside. And it's just threads. So I have some DMCs that are not all gonna go together. They are mainly, it must be said, for that Mirabilia that I'm starting, because weirdly I didn't have loads of these pinks and purples and brights in my stash, because I don't have a full set of DMC. I just have what I've used and what's left over. And once I've bought a colour, I do tend to buy a replacement for that colour when I've used it up. So I am slowly building towards a full set, because I never run out of a thread and then don't replace it. But I don't always, you know, I'm not out there buying threads that I never use or have never used in anything. So yeah, a lot of these have never been used by me in a project, because I don't tend to stitch fancy ladies and things that need bright pink thread. So there's that. Then I have a Karen Water Lilies. This is Karen Water Lilies Sticks and Stones. I've never used Karen Water Lilies silk before. So excited to give that a go. Again, that is for my Mirabilia lady. It's very pretty. It kind of goes from gold through like greeny grey to blue. Yeah, it's nice. And then a skein of Weeks Dye Works Kudzu. Can't actually remember what that's for. Hold on, I've got a list down there. That is for... That's for my Teresa Koga New Start. There we go. It's got all those from Lakeside. And then the final thing I got was bobbins. I got 100 cardboard bobbins. Now, I don't know if you've ever looked. Let me see if I can find something to show this to you. I don't know if you have ever particularly looked at my threads. But I generally keep my DMC on bobbins. Can you see that? And I use plastic bobbins because I like how sturdy they are. And someone said to me, how do you do it? Do you have a master set of DMC? Do you end up with multiple bobbins of the same colour so that they're in your project? You know, how do you work it? So this is from my Prairie Schooler, and then I've got another ring of bobbins here. This is from Seize the Day, and I only have one set of bobbins, but obviously I only have one bobbin per colour, with the exception of kind of 310, B5200 and Blanc. So I do have some multiple bobbins of those just because you use them so often. But for all other colours, I only have one bobbin per colour. But obviously I have a lot of whips. So how do I manage it and how do I keep track? Because I take my projects out and about, I'm not always with my master set, so it's not that I do take bobbins out and put them in projects. So how do I keep track of what I have? I hope this is all making sense and not being too random and too waffly. So I have 3 boxes of DMC, as I say, not a full set, but a reasonably comprehensive set. And these are my master sets. And so inside, I order them in number order. I have my plastic bobbins wound with their colours. And then when I come to kit up a project, I come into my box and find the number I need. And when I take it out, I replace it. I do basically a library checkout system. And I replace it with a cardboard bobbin. So when I come, for example, I've just picked this at random. When I come into this box and I'm looking for DMC 370, I go along in number order till I get to where DMC 370 would be. And there's a cardboard bobbin there. And it says, can I get it to focus on that? I don't know, but you can see there's writing on that. And at the top it has the number. Sorry, I can't get it to focus. Go on, focus on the bobbin. Anyway, at the top it has the number. And then written here, I know it's very blurry and you can't see it, it says where that colour is. So here it says Prairie School The Garden Sampler, which is the band sampler I just showed you. So if I wanted some DMC 370, I go right, and I can go to that project bag and hook it out and use it in something else. Similarly here, if I wanted some DMC 603, it says on there C's, so I know it's in C's the day. And that is how I work it. So I can quite easily move threads between projects without having to go through every single project bag I own to find out where the missing thread is. And I had run out of cardboard cards. I also only do 1 cardboard card for each thing as well. So for example, when I put those threads back in the boxes, I will take out their cardboard placeholders. And then in one of the trays, this long bit that you get here, I kind of keep the spare cardboard cards that have been used. So if I wanted to check out, here is DMC 367, I would go through those cardboard cards and see if I already had one for DMC 367. And if I did, I would use that. But I had a few. So because I've got these new threads, obviously, they won't have a cardboard bobbin because I've never had, what's this, DMC 3607. So I've never had any DMC 3607 before. Actually, that might be a lie. I might have had some of that and just run out. But I've definitely never had any DMC 915 before. So I will obviously put that on a plastic bobbin, but I will immediately check it out to a project and I will write a cardboard card for DMC 915. I hope that all made sense and wasn't just a load of complete nonsense, because in my head it all makes total sense, but I appreciate that doesn't necessarily mean it makes sense to anyone else. But that is how I do it and it works for me, and that is not saying that that is the right way or how anyone else should do it. You need to organise your stash and your stuff in a way that makes sense to you. But I just had a few questions about how I did it, and that is how I do it, for better or worse. Anyway, I think that's all I've got. I hope you are, as I say, all enjoying the weather, all enjoying your stitching. I am yet again up against the clock for a school run, but I don't really have anything else to say. So I hope I'll see you again next week, because as you can see, I've done what? 40 minutes? About 40 minutes, which is about the length of my usual floss tubes. And there wasn't much else except whips. There wasn't a lot of haul or anything. So I'm glad I did do it today, because if I'd waited another week, it would have been kind of epically long. So yeah, I hope to keep going with the once a week just while I'm in Stitch Mania. So that's kind of to the 22nd of May, and then normal service will resume. Yeah, that's all I've got. So hope you're enjoying stitching. Hope you're enjoying the weather. And until I see you next time, have a good week, Stitchers. Bye.